My family disinvited me from Christmas in a group chat they forgot I could screenshot, and the worst part wasn't the "you're not welcome." It was the laughing emoji my mother sent afterward. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you're listening from. If you'd met us from the outside, you'd have thought we were one of those cozy, picture-perfect families. Matching pajamas, Christmas cards with fake snow filters, my mom's Facebook posts about family is everything. People used to tell me, "You're so lucky your parents are so involved." I used to nod and smile, because explaining the truth sounded ungrateful. I'm the oldest of 3. No husband, no kids, just me and my small apartment, my job, my quiet routines. My brother, Nate, and my sister, Emma, both had kids before 30. That's when the language at home started to change. Real family, real Christmas. We do it for the grandkids now. At first it was subtle, a joke about my cat mom status. A comment that I wouldn't get it because I didn't have kids. Every Christmas, though, I still showed up. I brought the expensive gifts, the thoughtful ones. I arrived early to help my mom cook, stayed late to clean. I took her to chemo appointments when she was sick years ago. I covered their mortgage payment 1 month when my dad's hours were cut. No one posted that part on Facebook. I was good for favors and quiet sacrifices. But I didn't count as a parent, so I didn't count as much. Looking back, the warning signs were always there. The kids' table, magically expanded to include any human being over the age of 3. I stayed sleeping on the couch while the parents got the guest rooms. They'd lower their voices when talking about money or future plans whenever I walked into the room, but freely discussed every detail in front of Nate and Emma. It was like becoming invisible in my own family. The final line snapped one Tuesday in early December. I was at my desk at work, the office already half decorated with tinsel and sad paper snowflakes, when my phone buzzed. Our family group chat. The Mary Martins lit up. Mom had sent a picture of my parents' living room, already set for Christmas. Tree stockings, a banner that said, "Parents Christmas 2024. Then Nate. "Can't wait. Kids are so excited." Emma. "The parent crew is gonna be lit." I typed "parent crew" and hit send. I watched the 3 little dots appear and disappear. Then a new message popped up from my mom. "Honey, don't take this the wrong way, but this year we're doing Christmas just for parents and grandkids. It's just where we are as a family now." I stared at the screen, my ears ringing. I could actually feel my heartbeat in my throat. I typed, "So I'm not invited?" This time it was my dad who responded. He doesn't normally text much. "It's not about inviting or not. It's a parent's Christmas. You're an adult, you don't even like kids' chaos anyway. You'll be fine." Then, like salt in a wound, Emma chimed in. "We can do something with you later, maybe like New Year's or something?" New Year's. Something with you. Like I was an afterthought. A side quest. My hands were shaking so hard I had to put my phone down. The office sounds faded. Keyboards clacking, someone laughing near the break room, the hum of the printer. All of it got muffled. It felt like someone had just slammed a door on 33 years of my life and hung a sign that said, "No entry if you don't have children." I left work early that day. I told my manager I had a migraine, and in a way that was true. Driving home, I barely remember the traffic lights. Just the smear of red and green through tears I refused to let fall until I got inside. When I closed my apartment door behind me, the silence hit like a wave. I dropped my keys on the counter and slid down the cabinet until I was sitting on the kitchen floor. The tile was cold against my legs. My breath came out in short, shaky bursts. I finally let myself cry. Ugly, chest-racking sobs that had nothing to do with one Christmas and everything to do with every single time my parents had made me feel less than. I thought about the year my dad put the house in my name for tax reasons, when he almost lost it after a failed business. I was 24 and scared, but I signed the papers because he said, "Family sticks together." I thought about the bank receipts in my drawer, the property tax payments I'd quietly covered when they were a little tight. I thought about the time he said, "You don't have kids, so you can afford to help." On the floor with mascara streaked down my face, a terrifying thought flashed through my mind. The house is still in my name. I grabbed my phone and pulled up an old email from the mortgage company. My name as the primary. My parents as occupants. At the time it had made me feel important. Trusted. Now I saw it differently. I saw leverage. I saw documents. I saw a pathway out of being the family doormat. The breakdown lasted all night. I moved from the kitchen floor to the couch, where I lay staring at the ceiling. My phone lit up a few more times, not from my parents but from Instagram Christmas ads. Fake joy. No apology text. No second thoughts. Just silence from the people who decided I wasn't parent enough to sit at their table. Around 4 a.m., something inside me shifted. The sobs had dried up, replaced by a cold clarity. I got up, washed my face, and made coffee. I opened my laptop and dug up every document, every email, every receipt related to that house. Mortgage statements. Tax receipts. The scan deed my dad had forwarded with, "Just sign this, kiddo, I'll handle the rest." As the sky outside turned from black to dull gray, I realized I had a choice. I could stay the exiled, childless daughter crying on her kitchen floor, or I could become the legal owner who finally acted like it. That was the moment I stopped being their extra and started being their problem. The next morning, I called a real estate attorney instead of my mother. That was my first act of revenge, even if it didn't look like revenge yet, choosing a professional over a parent. I sat at my tiny dining table with my laptop open. The deed pulled up on the screen. When the attorney, Ms. Patel, answered, my voice shook at first. I told her the whole story minus the Christmas part. I framed it as a property clarification issue. Whose name was actually on what, who was paying, who was living there. There was a pause on the line as she clicked through the documents I'd emailed. Then she said matter-of-factly, "Legally, this house is yours. They're occupants. You're the owner of record, and you've been paying the taxes. If you wanted to, you could sell, or charge rent, or file for eviction." The word eviction made my stomach twist. These were my parents. The people who'd taught me to ride a bike, to say please and thank you. The idea of putting them out on the street felt monstrous. But as Ms. Patel walked me through everything, another reality came into focus. They'd already put me out in the emotional cold years ago. The Christmas ban was just the first time they said it bluntly. We built the plan in quiet, methodical steps. Step 1. Get full copies of all property records. Step 2. Document every payment I'd made. I combed through bank statements, highlighting each transfer to Martin's Mortgage LLC. Step 3. Screenshot everything from the family chat. Not just the disinvite, but months of messages where they treated me as a financial backup and social extra. My desktop filled with proof. A digital crime board that showed exactly how long I'd been useful to them, and how quickly they discarded me when I didn't fit their parents-only aesthetic. Ms. Patel suggested a formal letter first, a notice to my parents that we needed to regularize the situation. Either they start paying rent at a fair market rate, or we list the house for sale and split the proceeds. I stared at the draft before she sent it, my cursor hovering over the PDF. One sentence stood out. As the legal owner of the property, I am no longer willing to maintain this arrangement informally. I approved it. We mailed the letter certified. I tracked delivery like some people track flight arrivals. It was signed for on a Thursday afternoon by my dad. That same evening, my phone lit up like a siren. First, a text from my mom. "What is this letter? Please tell me this is some kind of mistake." Then my dad. "Call me. Now." For the first time in my life, I didn't. I let their messages sit there unanswered, while I cooked myself dinner in my small, quiet kitchen. Oil sizzling in the pan, the soft clink of dishes. Sounds of a life I'd built without them. My heart still raced, but this time it wasn't panic. It was power, unfamiliar but undeniable. The next day my dad finally called. I answered. His voice came through sharp and incredulous. "What the hell is this about you no longer being willing to maintain the arrangement? That house is ours, you know that." I took a slow breath. "Legally it's mine, Dad." "That's just paperwork," he snapped. "We only put it in your name to help us out. Family helps family. You know that." I almost laughed. Like how family invites family to Christmas? There was a pause. I could picture him realizing which landmine he'd stepped on. "Oh, for God's sake," he said. "You're still on that? It's not that deep. We just wanted a parent's thing." "Then this is just an owner's thing," I replied calmly. "It's not that deep." Silence. Then he exploded. Words like ungrateful, selfish, heartless spilled out. In the past, I would have cried, apologized, backpedaled. This time, I just opened the email Ms. Patel had sent confirming our next steps if they refused to cooperate. I'm not arguing with you, I said quietly. You received the letter. You know the options. You have until December 23rd to decide. After that, Ms. Patel proceeds with the next legal step. You'd really do this right before Christmas? My dad demanded. You already did, I said and hung up. The days leading up to December 23rd felt like living inside a slow-motion explosion. My mom sent long, guilt-soaked texts. We did our best. You're punishing us for one little thing. We love you, we just wanted something special with the grandkids. Emma called once crying, saying, This is tearing the family apart. Can't you just let it go? Nate texted me a single line. This is messed up, sis. You're going too far. No one apologized for the parents-only Christmas. No one said, we hurt you. We were wrong. They just wanted me to be the same quiet, invisible support system, funding their life while being excluded from it. On December 23rd, Ms. Patel filed the papers. Formal notice to either enter a rental agreement or vacate the property. Because of the timing and the backlog at the sheriff's office, the official service date landed, unintentionally but poetically, on December 25th, Christmas Day. While they were prepping their perfect parents-only Christmas, hanging their banner across the living room I owned, a sheriff's car pulled up in front of the house. I know because Miss Patel forwarded me the service confirmation later, and because Emma texted me in all caps. What did you do? There's a sheriff here. Mom is crying. I imagine the scene like a movie. My parents in their matching red sweaters, the grandkids running around, the house smelling like cinnamon and turkey. The doorbell rings. My dad opens it with that practiced host smile and sees a uniformed officer holding a clipboard. Papers are handed over. Words like legal owner, non-compliance, and eviction process echo through the hallway. They wanted a Christmas just for parents. They got one with every consequence of the way they treated their third unfavored child, who also happened to be their landlord. The confrontation came a week later, in Miss Patel's office. My parents sat on one side of the polished table, me on the other. My mom's eyes were swollen. My dad's jaw clenched so tight a muscle in his cheek twitched. You've humiliated us, my mother whispered. I folded my hands, feeling my heartbeat but keeping my voice steady. You humiliated me when you told me I wasn't welcome at Christmas because I'm not a parent. You made it very clear where I stand in this family. I'm just making it clear where we stand legally. This is revenge, my dad hissed. This is boundaries, I corrected. You used my name, my credit, my money. You talked about family when you needed something and parents only when you didn't. I'm done living in that contradiction. The options were laid out again. Pay rent at market rate, or we list the house for sale and they take their portion of the equity and move. They grumbled, threatened to get their own lawyer, called me dramatic. In the end they agreed to sell. Not because they understood but because they had no choice. 3 months later, the house that had hosted every perfect Christmas was gone. The closing check hit my account. I transferred them their agreed-upon share and kept the rest. I used it as a down payment on a small townhouse in a quiet neighborhood, a place that smelled like fresh paint and possibility, not burnt coffee and unspoken resentment. That first Christmas in my new place, I didn't have a tree crowded with grandkids. I didn't have matching pajamas or a chaotic living room. I had a single candle burning on the coffee table, a simple dinner for one, and a silence that felt like peace instead of punishment. If you're listening to this and your family has treated you like an extra in your own life, remember this. Being alone is painful, but being used is worse. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to stop showing up where you're only valued for what you give, not who you are.